In the bustling Tokyo of 2021, a team of neuroscience researchers made a staggering discovery. By studying the work habits of hundreds of employees, they highlighted an alarming fact. Modern humans switch tasks every 10 minutes, caught in a chaseless whirlwind of interruptions and distractions. In this daily turmoil, the quest for efficiency seems like a lost battle. It's against this backdrop that SAP's Shift Note and Shift Report emerge as innovations designed to redefine the playing field. Without fanfare or gimmickry, these tools aim to simplify the management and the reporting, promising a haven of structure amidst the ambient chaos. The promise is bold: to transform the labyrinth of daily tasks into a direct route to productivity and clarity. With a methodological approach, Shift Note and Shift Report tackle the root of the problem, offering a solution where the complexity of end-of-day reports and team management becomes child's play. But beyond the promises, what's the real face of these tools? Can they truly stand up to the storm, or are they just a drop in the ocean of managerial challenges? The story of these innovations is that of an attempt to meet the crying needs for efficiency and for organization in an increasingly fragmented professional world. Let's follow the development of these tools to discover if SAP has managed to turn today's logistical nightmare into a manager's dream. This aforementioned research with scientists delving into the intricacies of human behavior pointed out an undeniable truth. Our workdays are fragmented into a myriad of micro activities. The major challenge lies in our ability to sort, to select the crucial moments of these marathon days for logging. Not just to engrave them in our memory, but also to share, to transmit. And it's precisely here that Shift Note makes its entrance. The tool is not just an advanced digital notepad. No, it's the keeper of moments that matter. Centralization, archiving, and communication. These are the three pillars upon which Shift Note stands. Each captured information becomes a thread in the complex tapestry of team management, making the process not only smoother, but also more transparent. Now, armed with this understanding of the potential and essence of Shift Note, let's turn to SAP to unravel step by step how all this actually works together. We are now in our SAP system, and I will show you how to create a Shift Note and first how to configure it, because it's really important to understand that by default and in standard, SAP already customize and configure for you some interesting things, but you need maybe to customize it and to add some data in your master data or technical object in order to create and be able to create these Shift Notes. First, we will go in the customizing really quickly. So with the transaction code SPRO in the SAP reference implementation grid. And you can first find the Shift Note and Shift Report configuration in a lot of folders and subfolders, but we will use here in our example the plant maintenance one. So in the plant maintenance and customer service folder, we will open the maintenance and service processing folder. And here you can find a lot of configuration points and so on. And we will here open the subfolder Shift Note and Reports, where we are able to find inside two different subfolders: settings for Shift Notes, where we will have all the customizing points related to the Shift Notes, and settings for Shift Reports, where we will find all the different customizing points for the shift reports. Let's first start with the shift notes. So here you can find all the customizing points related, and for us, two are important in this video: the define notification types and the make settings for shift note type. So first, like in every notification in SAP, so a quality notification, a complaint for a customer, a maintenance request, and so on. So for each notification, it's the same object in SAP, but it has its specific shift note type. So if we open and start this customizing point, you can find here the table where you are able to see all the shift note types already defined in the system. So for example, M1 for the maintenance request, Q1 for the customer complaint, and so on. And for the shift note, it's the same. It's in standard SN shift note. So this shift note type is related directly to the shift note. If you double click on it, you are able to see some additional configuration parameters, such as here the catalog profile, such as the number range assigned, and so on. Let's go back, and for our shift note type now, we will execute the customizing point, make settings for shift note. So it's not this one, it's another one, it's this one. Make settings for shift note type, sorry, not the printing ones. So here, based on the shift note type SN, you are able to define a specific used and specific reference objects on which you would like to create the shift note. So a shift note is, by default, created on a specific object. So you can create a shift note directly on a material, for example. You can create a shift note on a batch. You can create a shift note directly on a production order, on an equipment, and so on. And if needed, you can add some reference object on which you will be able to create shift note. For example, by clicking on new entries, you can, for example, create here a new entry and specify, for example, maintenance order, and in this new business object or reference object, bus 2007, if you press on it, you will be able then to create shift notes on maintenance order. We will not do it right now because we will create a shift note directly on our equipment, which is already in this database and configuration point. So let's close this configuration process and let's go directly in our equipment with the transaction code IE02. It's important first to start with the configuration and then to change the master data, because you need to adapt the master data of the technical objects on which you would like to create a shift note in order to be able to do it. So for example, on this equipment, this mold, if you allow the shift note creation on equipment with the customizing we just seen together, then in a general tab, you will have a new field which appears shift note type, where you should be able to add your shift note type. And if you insert this in the master data, then you are able to create the shift note. It's the same with the shift report. You should be able to activate it based on the equipment, and then in the master data, directly be able to enter the value of the report, shift report type. But we will see it together later in this video. The final thing we need to do in the master data is the change in the work center. It's really important. So if you would like to create a shift note on an equipment, you need to change the equipment itself and the work center. So for example, for this work center, Furnace 01, if you activate it also on the work center based, here you are able to see in the basic data tab the shift note type field where you should do the same, enter the shift note type, you use SN. Then you are able to create the shift note with the transaction code SHN1. So here you have the header on which work center, on which plant, and you can specify or select the reference object, on which object I want to create my shift note. on a batch, equipment, material, production order, and so on. These are all the reference objects we already defined in the customizing together earlier. Suppose that we want to do it on an equipment, and then SAP asks us on which equipment. I can enter my equipment right here and press enter. You can select a date and the time here. And here add a comment. Our first shift note done together. Once done, once my comment's done, I can just save it. My notification shift note, which ends with 3, is created, and I can go back into it in change mode, for example, with the transaction code SHN2. I select my shift note number, and here you can see that my first comment is here, and I can add a new comment with the date and time, which has been updated automatically. Update for our shift note. And then you can write a thread like this and be able to see and track the progress of the changes and comments right in the shift note directly. So then I can save it, and now the shift note is created, updated, and we will be able how we can recover it directly from our shift report just after. So how do we bridge the meticulous capture of our days with shift note and the clear transmission of this mosaic of activities? How do we ensure that the vivid tableau of our daily work doesn't remain confined in the shadows, but is also shared and understood by all? Shift report then takes over from shift note, acting as the final receptacle where all these activities, meticulously catalogued, converge together. It's in this space that centralization makes complete sense, offering an overview that goes beyond simple data archiving. It's not just a summary of the day, it's a living dashboard, reflecting not just the work done, but also the interactions, the challenges, and also the successes. Recording these activities with shift note, then crystallizing them in the shift report offers a key to every team member. A key that unlocks the doors of mutual understanding, cohesion, and collective progress. Hence, the journey continues into the bowels of SAP, where the functioning of shift note and shift report is revealed. We are back now in our SAP system, and I will show you how it looks like directly in SAP. So first, we will go again in our configuration with the transaction code SPRO in order to understand the basic configuration of the shift report. So again, we will go in the plant maintenance folder, inside maintenance and service processing, and here we will open the subfolder shift note report. And this time we will go in settings for shift report. There is less customizing options right here, but you can, for example, define also some signature strategies for approval of shift report and so on. So it's really interesting, a bit technical, but really powerful. Now I will go in the define shift report type. It's a bit the same as the shift note type, where you should be able to indicate to SAP to which object I should be able to create a report. So here we have two different report type. The first one, which allows us to create shift report based on work center, and the second one, which allow us to create some shift report based on function allocation and equipment. You can, if needed, create some additional usage. And for example, for the first one, if I double click on it, I can go in the content of the shift report. And as the shift report is a simple document where you can have and find some additional information, the number of notifications created, the number and the confirmations done on maintenance orders, for example, and so on. It's basic form in SAP, a basic document that you can configure and adapt according to your needs with a specific class right here and a specific form. It's a bit technique. SAP offers already a specific default form and class, but you can adapt it if necessary. So we will see directly now in SAP how it looks like directly. And just to be sure, one reminder from my side, if you want to create a shift report and generate it, you should enter the shift report type in the master data we already seen previously during the shift node creation, in the equipment master and in the work center master data, if you are using these technical objects. Now we will launch the transaction code SHR1, R1. So SHN1, N as notification, and SHR1, R for report. We have to select the work center first here. So on which work center we would like to see and generate the report. Then we will select an evaluation period. So from which date to which date. So let's select today's date if we want to select our notification. And here the time. So for example, from 4 p.m. to now. Press enter. You can also specify a shift if needed, and then you can generate the report. So this is the report. On the first page, you have some filtering data or selection data, the evaluation period, the start and the end, and so on. And then you have the content. So the shift note, the confirmations, the maintenance notifications, quality notifications, and so on. Everything should be displayed here. So here we do not have our shift note, so maybe I should go a bit earlier. So for example, I will select 3:30. I execute the shift report. And here I can see our shift note now. So this is our shift note because it has been created, you can see, at 3:57. And this is our shift note number, which ends with 3. It has been created by me. And you can see all the comments written in the shift note. So the first comment we add at 57, our first shift note done together. And then the second comment in edit mode, update for our shift note. And you can see here in the table all the shift notes created from a specific shift, for example, and being able also to see the comments and the update of the shift note. And it will be easy and quick to track the progress, to follow the process, and so on, with a smooth transition to shifts and being able to transfer information or what has been done, for example, to the next shift without any problem, without any miss of some important informations, and so on. So it could be really, really useful. By default, I know that a lot of teams are doing that by emails. Now it's really tractable directly in SAP. You can do it really easily with the shift report. The study conducted in Tokyo had lifted the veil on a worrying phenomenon, the extreme fragmentation of our workdays, a puzzle constantly redrawn by the avalanche of tasks and interruptions. In this context, Shift Note and Shift Report present themselves not as mere tools. They provide a real answer, a potential remedy to this fragmentation, offering a means to sew back together the torn fabric of our daily activities. Centralization and communication, the two pillars upon which Shift Note and Shift Report stand, are more than just features. They are a reflection of a deep understanding of human needs in the work environment. By providing a platform where each action, each note, and each report finds its place and voice, SAP is redefining the contours of collaboration and efficiency. This exploration at the heart of SAP and its tools reveals a simple yet powerful truth. Faced with complexity, the response is not to add complexity again, but to simplify, to clarify, and to connect. Shift Note and Shift Report embody this philosophy. They are an invitation to rethink our way of working.